Good evening, Star Wars fans. Coming to you live for this latest issue of Holotheatre to celebrate the conclusion of the 2020 MPC. With me, as always, is Jerry Queso Sauce Hein,
Hello, hello.
and joining us today is the one, the only Hayes Hunter, your 2020 MPC winner, your 2020 Endor Grand Prix winner.
Your
Uh,
2020 major event winner.
yeah, yeah, just your 2020 winner at this point. I mean, is there anything you haven't won this year, Hayes?
I haven't done any OCS yet.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. There's some OCS, yeah, but congrats, by the way, for winning the MPC, especially those last few games with Kyle and then with Jared. Those were pretty exciting. Got to do commentary on some of
Yeah.
those, so congrats, and good time. You enjoyed it?
Yeah. Yes and no, right? Like, it didn't feel real. Like, it's
Yeah.
I miss like the most fun about going to these tournaments is like not so much the card playing. Like
Mhm.
that's like business, right? It's the being able to hang out until 2, 3, 4, 5
Etc.
in the morning, right? Playing Avalon or just whatever, seeing everybody, right? So
Right.
it that part was severely missed. Like it didn't. I mean, Game Star Wars is amazing. I mean, the game would not be where it is today without
Mhm.
that. Troy is such a fantastic person for bringing us this resource, and
100%.
it's just not the same though as real life Star Wars cards. Like there is nothing that replaces that, and
Exactly.
everybody's been cooped up for a while, so I would love to see everybody in person. I don't care what the next major event is. I will be there in real life.
Nice.
Heck
Glad to hear
yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm going to say this: you do still need to get a webcam. We don't have a webcam, so we're using the Hayes, the official Hayes Hunter picture. So
Huh?
Oh, someone just asked it.
exactly.
Oh.
So we're still
No,
waiting for you to
I was
get.
making the sound effect.
Yeah.
I
So,
assume it's my intense look from
Ye-
Endor, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Tim
Okay.
Allen look.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Luddite, and good luck trying to buy a webcam these days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, they're all snatched up because of everyone working from home and Zoom meetings and all that stuff. But
Wow.
I think we said earlier, once you got all this money from winning these major events this year, you can throw $25 at a webcam once they come back in stock.
Everyone can rest assured I look exactly the same. That picture, that's like me right now.
With
I'll take your word for
the
it.
flannel and everything.
No, that's not true.
He's shirtless. Shirtless.
Yes, I'm topless right now.
Whoa.
So yeah, why don't you sort of talk us into what
Yeah.
you were thinking going into the MPC? Obviously, like you said, it wasn't, it was all a little different, but you kind of knew what you wanted to play, or where were you thinking? You ended up on what, AOBS and TRM for day one?
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of match play to begin with. Like, if it hadn't been online, I wouldn't be doing it, just because I hate the guessing games where you're looking at a bracket and you're trying to, plot out your course, and then you're trying to put that person or persons on X number of decks, and then it's just not as much fun as preparing for like a traditional meta for me. Also, I'm not weird. I don't play strange things. I play pretty standard,
good
whatever the
deck.
top of the meta is, right?
Yeah.
Solid decks. So I'm pretty easy to figure out. And if I meta wrong, then and I miss something, or if they anticipate a hole in my deck because they've looked at my history, I just don't like all that aspect of it. But regardless, that was my strategy this time around. I sort of picked out who I thought would win their matches, and I was correct. And I picked out who would be playing what decks. I narrowed everyone down to like 2.
Okay.
And then so the first day, I knew I didn't want to play No Idea, because I figured everyone would be teching for it. Also, it's less good with the errata. We talked about that at the end of Endor, was just how economical it was. So I've noticed since the errata, it's a lot harder to win by more. the deck could always tower at the beach and at the system. And when you do that, you go slow because you're limiting yourself to effectively 4 damage a turn. Right. And
Yes.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
menace fades. Yes, you can. I mean, everyone plays Kree, obviously. That's why it's only 4. But yeah, you can menace fades. Yeah, you can protection of Skywalker and do these things. But it just makes for a longer game. And the more turns a game takes, the more turns there are for things to go badly for you. So you want to get games over as quickly as possible. And that's why I've always preferred the going wide version. Jared's deck from the finals looks similar, but not similar to my Endor list. And I think the way you play the deck has evolved as a result of the errata. So anyway, I was not high on No Idea. I figured people would put me on it. And No Idea is much easier to tech for than is Throne Room. Like,
yes,
multiple Nevernyals or, just the effing Mon. There's a whole bunch of annoying, stupid things to do that makes life difficult for
like all the silly things you put in your map deck at Endor.
Yeah, all those things, right? So short of playing agents, starting according to my design and running 5 senses, there's not a lot you can realistically do to stop Throne Room.
True.
Especially like against Kyle when you draw no activation pores in your first hand.
Yeah, that was rough.
No, it worked out fine. I rescued into rescue though twice because I needed to find more cards.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say it was rough, but you managed to squeak it out.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can get to that. So day 1, I've said Throne Room is I expect Court from DePaulo. I expect Court possibly from Stubley. I don't care if he plays Hunt Down. I love playing Throne Room versus Hunt Down.
So you expected a heavy amount of Court. Is that why your Throne Room didn't have like any space in it at all?
Correct. Yep. I went spaceless because I'm like, this day I don't need it. And then of course for day 2, I said I can't go spaceless again. People are gonna like put a lone Ellis space and it's gonna be worthless, So no, so yeah, spaceless. I basically said ISB, possibly Hunt Down, and Court was what I was preparing for. And Throne Room rolls over Court, and I love playing it against Hunt Down. And so my tech on the first day was playing the Leia V.
Yep. One of my favorite cards.
Yeah. Oh man, she was nails. Just absolutely fantastic card. So I felt like I meted it correctly and got up to Stubley and part of the decision making when you play and match play is different. Like you almost have to swing for the fences a little bit more on the onset because you want to do something to make that first win so big. So that game against him was, he misplayed by putting down Vader onto his Executor, which let me go to a battleground first. And then he wasted effectively a whole turn because he paid 6 for Vader and he paid 4 to pick him back up, right? So that's 10 force deficit. Yeah. He spent 10 force and was no richer for it, whereas I just moved my so I got a huge jump. And I had an opportunity to get a game-ending beatdown. And, it just, I calculated a lot of different scenarios and, the Destiny check, I had like 1 miss in my deck, assuming he had this. And anyway, it should have been overflow for like 20 because I knew the Gick was in his deck. We saw it on a reveal. But it should have been overflow for 20 and it wasn't, right? It ended up being like Vader and Tarkin in like 2.
Yeah.
So, it was really hard to focus back on the game after that, but I grounded out still. I was in control because he had nothing on the board and I owned the singular battleground. So, the second game was rough. I'm like, okay, great. I just have to win or lose by a little. And I made a mistake at the end that cost me the game. There's one turn where I had like 17 force or something ridiculous, and like Luke and Cassian were one of my Coruscant sites, and I could have just dropped like Boba Fett and like a bounty hunter and drawn 3 destinies and cleared them. And instead I made this weird play to space because I wanted to get my drains for free again, and wasted a whole bunch of force, and that made the game extend and be a lot closer. Obviously in the end I conceded because I thought it was over, but he was going to win by 12. Like, had I just taken my turn and drawn up, he was going to win by 12 to my 11 from the first match. So I was pretty ticked at myself for making that really, really bad mistake. I mean, one thing in the first game was a little out of my control. Learned something from it, but the second game was like absolutely like I felt like I messed up. So I was dejected. Whenever I lose, I'm pissed at myself. Well, not always, but when I do lose and it's my fault, I use that as motivation to get better. So
especially such a close game, you know.
Yeah, and it's
match.
a grind. It's a super grind. Back to meta. Agents was my dark because map is out. Map is so bad against, and it's so bad against no idea. Like it literally doesn't have a good matchup anymore against anything. So map was out. I don't like playing court because it's like, well, you're running a throne room. It's pretty much an auto loss. So I watched a lot. I've been working from home, so I've just been sort of watching games on GEMP, my second monitor, and I watched Desai playing a lot. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty nifty list because your Destiny goes way up with quietly observing, right? You run multiples of the new fancy characters, so it's like these 4 or 5 cards that were Destiny 2 have now transitioned to Destiny 4. So that's really appealing. And then it's smart play undercover spies and protection for them because Never Nyal works great against their dust carrier, right? You don't ever want to fight as so an undercover spy there to stop that damage, and then never-ning their dust away saves you so much damage. So I'm like, oh, that's clever. You just grind them out elsewhere, and you stop them from pinging you and draining at the beat. That makes sense. And of course, against mains, same thing, right? If you get an undercover spy stick for multiple turns, that's pretty much game, right? You don't want to fight a stack of mains.
No.
You just want to undercover and ignore them and run around and get your plinks in. So there's a clear game path for both of the 2 top light decks through agents. It requires every game with that deck is a grind. I mean, it's so much more tracking than I'm used to doing. I mean, map, you're always shuffling your used pile. You're looking to figure out what's in your force pile by searching for a site. You're always constantly shuffling. So like, you never track
Tracking
it.
is not
They're
a
like,
big deal with map.
it's not a priority today. But agents, like, oh my god, remember to peek at the top 4 cards of your deck, and then remember when you wipe that it's this one, and then when you spend it for that, then it's going to be here, and then it's just...
and then remember if you're using you search your force pile. Oh, I want this particular card. What can I do to get to that card, and then use the shadows to get said card out of my force pile. It's a complicated deck. I mean, Desai said the same thing, but
I mean, in Throne Room, you're always looking for what's in your force pile because you need to know if you're drawing or saving. Like that's a standard practice in many games. I think that's something people don't do enough is checking their reserve to verify their force pile. You guys have probably seen the 7 Emperor ISB deck. That thing is like you use drop and you force lightning. So Eric came up with this, and every turn you force lightning back with drop on their turn, so that on your turn you're peeking, and they don't know what all's in your deck, right? They don't see the 3 tramples and all that stuff. So you're every turn figuring out what's in your force pile, and on your turn you're putting your emperors back, and on their turn you're always putting the force lightning to set it all up again. So but doing it every turn, but also having to memorize your force pile, I'm like happy when I'm on the 0 side because I don't have to do all that shit. I don't want to remember what the top 4 cards in my deck are and all that stuff. So it's a lot of mental gymnastics. So
is that easier or harder on GEMP for you? That kind of stuff?
Harder, definitely harder. I hate digital tracking. Like my methodology, I mean, it's like the same
I
way
like
you
to feel the cards in my hands when I'm doing my tracking. I know
that's part of it.
Well, I mean, think back like 15 years ago. How many phone numbers did you have memorized? And then you think today, how many do you have memorized? It's
like 3.
But
was
it's
gonna
it's a
say.
sequencing thing, and the fact that you shadows on the card that you activated and not the top card of your deck, like that, I've missed shadows so
Mhm.
many times online because I think, okay, it's 6 and then this, and then I'll stop at 6 because that's what you're supposed to do when you track, and then I'll be like, oh wait, it's +1, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it just
you
throws me
wanted
off.
it to be, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I hate digital tracking. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people. My brother really likes digital tracking, but of course he's played about 99% more games online since returning to the game
Yeah.
than he has in person. So it's one of those things, I guess. But yeah, it's just a lot of work, that deck.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then, we had the situation with Stubley where he basically, admitted that he was, watching the stream potentially during the game. So he advanced through that, even though, the loss of the match by 1 or whatever. And then supposed to play Baroni. Baroni wasn't able to make it or whatever. So then, on to the top 4, where you get to change decks, and then you had Kyle Kruger waiting for you. So did you want to sort of go into what was going in your mind going into the next weekend, where it was, day 2, quote unquote?
Well, so Kyle and I are on the same team, right?
Yeah.
So it's there's, I don't know. I think our roster is, I think we're technically 13 people on paper, but like,
You got like what, 20 maybe?
no, but like
Double.
it's like Steve
It's like
Skilton. He's on the team, right?
Tom Kelly and Joe Olson and
Yeah,
Phil.
Tom's not on the team anymore.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway,
But he was.
yeah, he was. But
Yeah.
like Steve Skilton, I mean, I don't even know the last time I've actually, I probably spoke to him, I don't know, maybe a month ago. But anyway, it's on paper it's 13 people, but realistically, actively it's like maybe 7. I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
so we're on the same team and we don't tech for one another. So it was really funny to hear you guys talking about, oh no, according to my design. Like, well, yeah, we both knew what each other were playing and we weren't going to tech for one another. We did not,
That's
we were
fair.
trying to beat the other side of the bracket. We didn't care what happened between the two of us. We just played it, and whoever the agreement was, whoever won our game had to win the tournament. That was all that was said. So
there you go.
And you know what? That's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, he knew my decks. I knew his decks. I mean, not card for card, but I definitely knew going into it what he was playing, and vice versa. So, there was no like, oh, last minute, I'm gonna, throw in that according to my design type of shenanigans, right? That's not what teammates do. So our game was
you guys just had what? It was AOBS and TRM mirror matchups? Yeah.
Yeah, and I did the QO again, and he did the more traditional version with the senses and the hidden weapons and stuff, because his destiny was like really bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the destiny was what really got to him in that match, in that game against you.
Yeah, and so I knew that it was mine when it was that turn when he played the Forlom and the Boba Fett. So he Forlom'd, and I rescued into the blaster deflection, and that's when I knew I was gonna win.
Wow.
So I out-Kyled Kyle. Whenever you can do that,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I was really proud of Kyle. He had a really good run.
He did.
Top 4.
Me too.
I thought he was underseeded to begin with, although he hasn't, performed well lately. But he's got so many historical top 8 finishes.
I would say but it's a different beast with Gemp. I mean, Kyle he doesn't really play a lot on Gemp as like say your higher seed. I mean, some of the other people like look
That's
at
fair,
he plays more than me.
Well,
he plays way more than me.
I was going to say, but he hasn't he's been playing recently. But whereas last year and the year before, you played.
Yeah, no, for sure, COVID has benefited him because he's been trapped, and so instead of being out and about and instead of doing Kyle things, he's been actually like practicing Star Wars.
Yeah,
I like that Kyle things. To be
Friday night, Kyle's like, I don't have a dark deck, and I'm like, it's the day before the tournament, and Kyle doesn't have a deck.
What else is
surprise there? Right.
Yeah.
So
been there before.
Yeah, he went with the this deal is getting worse. Intensify, expand aliens deck.
The Port Town District aliens, whatever.
Yeah, JM, John Michael, and Cal. They took the list that I had from playtesting, which was just crappy troopers and tactical assaults, and they it went first to what if we played it with Skirling and Jabba's twerps, and that way you can always. So the deck evolved a lot, but they put so much work into that. And it's like an autoplay deck, like super easy, but it's super
Yeah.
creative.
It is,
So-
and for me, that's one of the big things about the NPC was seeing like a lot of the different creative decks that we saw. Yeah, we saw our throne rooms, we saw our courts, hidden, our hunt downs and stuff. But seeing that, or seeing Jared Konsker's SSA starting to dig up a cave, running Vader and Vader's custom tie was great.
And like the Prophet Spaceport Speeders
Yeah.
stuff was kind of
Yeah.
Diplo Spaceport
Oh,
Speeders was played.
anytime after a set drops, it's always going to be interesting to see how the meta shakes up.
Mhm.
But this set in particular, because it was such a, D&D did a great job honing in on like everyone's concerns and trying to like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times, a lot of design is sort of knee jerk, like, oh, this is
Mhm.
strong. Let's make a silver bullet, a la Decipher, right? It's not real
Yeah.
genius design per se. It's
Mhm.
just a quick, easy solution to a problem. Oh, we know resets out there eventually. It'll get solved, right?
Right.
This set was one of the most difficult. I mean, after Endor, I was talking about how excited I was about playtesting.
Mhm. Yeah.
This was one of the most important sets to playtest because it was really shaking up the top of the meta. Instead of just trying to interject something new and hope that shifted things, this was like, we are going to break the status quo. So this
Mhm.
set has been one of the more influential ones, as small as it is. It did make a lot of changes that were necessary, and
Right.
it's
Mhm.
the game's never going to be perfectly balanced, yada yada, none of that. But
Yeah.
it's still like, it was
It's
a
a lot
tremendous
better
set.
than it was 6 months ago. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of this, speaking of a set like this, would you be in favor of design going back every, say, 2 years or so, looking at cards that could use a boost, like a tweak set like this? And would you be in favor of something going along those lines, versus just saying, okay, like knee jerk erratas or knee jerk silver bullets?
I mean, I don't know that I would put a arbitrary 2-year time limit on it. I
Mhm.
think that we have to realize, and I think that most people do, the further away we move from Decipher days, I feel like the more autonomy we feel we have.
Mhm.
I think a great thing that came about with the reset was the Senate shields. And
Yeah.
if you'll notice, program chap that got put on a shield. Lost in the Wilderness, Ice Storm, you may or not agree with it, but I mean, using shields, defensive shields to fix things is a step in the right direction. Honestly, I don't see a problem with we own the game now, right? I don't see a problem with us using that power to fix things when need be. Period. I don't think it has to wait 2 years. I think it doesn't have to happen every set. I think it's just on a as on demand basis, right? So if there's a
Yeah.
problem that arises, fix it the best way you can. Period.
Right.
Whenever. I don't think you need to prescribe anything. I think you just do your best
Yeah.
all the time. And if that means taking a retroactive look sometime, so be it. But at the same time, I'm hesitant to really fully embrace that because I don't want cards to go into or come out of design saying, with these sort of caveat or asterisk, well, we can always fix it later. Like that's not
Yeah.
appropriate.
No,
I don't want to
agree.
promote that. And B, I want to see some new cards, like actual new cards. Like there's this new content now. I mean, I think like Chris talked about there being like a solo theme set or something, and
Yeah.
I don't know the details, but we're now behind the movies, right? we go
Right.
at our
Yeah.
own pace, but I mean, we're now, nobody could have foreseen at the onset of the first or last, whatever, 2014, right? We didn't know that there's going to be new movies.
Yeah.
So that changes things. Like this whole cycle has not been, who knows? Maybe there was plans to revisit Rescue the Princess, virtualize that, and I have
Right.
no idea. But
now we had to do,
new films coming out mean
maps, that stuff. Yeah.
exactly. So it's there should not be any new Star Wars movies coming out for a long time.
True,
So
but I
At
mean,
least a few years.
we do have some shows. I mean, thankfully we have the Mandalorian. Thankfully, right now they're doing Clone Wars. So
yeah.
But no,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
moving
I'm not.
forward-
I'm not saying like correcting mistakes of cards like that. I'm saying like say a card that we have created that isn't seeing a lot of play, a la like the Moncal Dockyards. One of those cards that I was adamant like it needs a fix to it so that way it has the possibility to see play. Like
Oh,
we look at cards like that and say, okay, what can we do to make it so that it might see more play than what it was seeing?
Right. So here, I would not be a fan of doing that only to take coaster cards and bring them current. No, I would not, because there's a whole lot of cards people don't play with.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
why go through the trouble of testing a quote unquote new card, right? It has an old card, an old virtual slip, but we're testing it under like it's a new card to then make everybody have to replace all of their old virtual slips. Like that can only create confusion. I think that
Okay.
when possible, you want to avoid doing that so that people don't show up to an event
Mhm.
with an old V slip, right? Plus, if you're going to spend the time and effort, quote unquote, designing and then testing a new card, why not just have it be a new card? Why does it have to redo a card that was already virtualized, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah, and like you said, there's so many other things we could explore. So I think I see where you're
I mean,
coming from there.
they could have taken another picture of Maul from any one of those god awful Tatooine cards and made
Yeah.
the Maul Lone Hunter, just call them something else. You know, I mean, you didn't have to abolish the old one. But
Yeah,
anyway, I'm
he could
just
have been a new Inquisitor, or he could have been a new version of Kylo
yeah.
Ren, or
I
something.
appreciate. I can't understate how much I appreciate the current set. It's been really, really impactful in the game.
Mhm.
But no, I don't think we need to go back and like look at coaster cards every 6 months. That's
Okay.
not productive.
All right,
So
fair
what
enough.
what direction would you say you would like to see design go? Because I know you're one of the playtesters. So over the next say year, what would you like to see come out of design?
A reset. You walked into that one.
Okay, that's fair. I did.
I mean,
I agree. Oh
seriously,
yeah, I did.
like I don't think we're there yet.
Hmm.
I think it's not sustainable to keep power creeping because I mean this set
Hmm.
was a pretty big example of how much things change.
Yeah.
Um, and I do feel like the rich keep getting richer. Every time there's a little bit of power creep, Throne Room
Yeah.
gets a little bit better. Right. So
Oh yeah. And right now, I think Throne Room. Don't get me wrong. With sitting there with LSJKs, you're playing four of those in the deck. They're Destiny 6 and everything. Versus now, would you rather have those in a throne room or would you rather have the new Rebel Scout in a throne room? I think 9 times out of 10 you're going to see people say Rebel Scout just because he does so much more.
no.
Really?
Yeah. Drawing sixes, which become sevens, is way better than being able to redraw.
Well, I'm not even saying the redraw. I'm saying you're getting +1 to your weapon destinies.
I understand. It's meta dependent,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
honestly, you can't argue with the fact that Destiny 6, which Destiny 7 is not super impactful. It lets you clear so much more stuff.
Hmm.
It changes things so much in how you play the game when you have that kind of Destiny deck. So
True.
I'm not saying Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout is bad. Really good. I mean, everyone plays him now. He's clearly the best Luke. But no. Anyway, all I'm saying is eventually we survive. I mean, I don't even want to say like we survived the last reset. I feel like with the onset of GEMP and the last reset, I feel like it has brought some new people into the game.
Mhm.
I know that the current meta has turned some people off from the game. That's fine. You're never going to please everybody, but
Right.
True.
you know, I think to say like, oh, we'll do one eventually. Like, I would love to see just a prescribed. That's what I would like from designers. If they just agreed every 5 to 6 years we're going to do this, then nobody's shocked. Oh, we've done it once. We sort of, lessons
Yeah, like
learned.
every
Mhm.
10 virtual sets or something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, yeah, just something like that to keep it sane. I mean, I know that there's a lot of vocal players in the community that have had ideas about how it should be executed in terms of like, well, let's look at the top played cards. Let's, set some criteria, that kind of stuff. Um, you know, I hate the word rotation because they say, well, let's rotate out these top cards and put in the. I'm like,
Well,
I think there just
You have
needs
to
to be
design
something.
the game that way when you're with rotation.
Yeah,
in mind.
Right, right. A reset is, to me, a cleaner way of doing it when it's carte blanche. Keep what you want, discard what you don't. But I would just like to see as a player, I mean, as a playtester, I'll do whatever they put in front of me, right? That's my job. But as a player, I would love to see a schedule, even if it was every 5 years or every 12 sets or something like that. Just because, you can control power creep better when you know that the end is near, I guess, right? I mean, right now things are just so nebulous. It's hard to, it's
Right,
hard
and
for
the
design.
designers, if they knew that going into each set, they could sort of make decisions based on, okay, well, this is the ninth set. We've got to really sort of like, this is
Right.
gonna be our big opus, and then the 10th set will just sort of close
Yeah.
everything out.
Well, so dream scenario, you you do the reset, right? But in the process of doing another reset, right, what you do is you say, okay, this is going to be the reset. Let's already have set 1 done, meaning the base set is done, and you give people 2 months, 3 months to play with the new meta or whatever, and then you quickly interject a set that's already completed. That means that while the reset is being launched, you're actually working on the second set behind the design. So you're always ahead. You're building a buffer in. Like that way you could just, I don't want to force people to commit to, we will have a virtual set out every 4 months. Like that's really too hard to do, but at least giving that kind of cushion. When you do a reset, you can build your own timetable. So anyway, stuff will happen. Who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm going to show up to these tournaments no matter what. So we can never do a reset and I'll be happy.
That's fair.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. So we've talked about Endor. We've talked about decks and everything. I think it's that time, though, Jerry.
Hey, what time is it?
Time to make Dan pronounce words that he's not good at.
Oh, well, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go into the spelling challenge here. I was going to say we could go into swing and a miss, and it's a hit,
All right,
but
fine,
no,
we can do swing and a miss.
Okay,
let's
we'll
build
do
the
that.
suspense. That with what I just dropped, no one's going to tune out now.
No.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm not even going to try the spelling challenge. I'm not even going to try this month or this week because okay. We'll figure it out. So, Jerry, would you want to tell us what the first card?
We're doing more than one?
Well, not for the card, but no, I'm saying, would you want to tell us what the first question is for swing and a miss, or it's a hit?
Oh, okay. We're doing that. I thought
yeah, because Hayes wants to build the suspense.
Oh, okay, right. All right. Well, my first one is so we've got right now the OCS going on. I predict that TIGIH, there is good in him, will be played a bunch following Matt Wadden's success versus AOBS. Is that it's a hit or swing and a miss?
Well, okay, so I have to ask, what's a bunch to you?
Yeah, just a lot. People will play it a lot. It'll be everywhere.
Miss.
Did you say a bunt or a bunch?
He said a bunch.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you're going like baseball analogy, like.
No, he said a bunch. Like Hayes has a bunch of trophies for this year.
A bunch of people are going to copy him because they think it's good versus AOBS, which it is.
It is because you start with Luke on the table, but after that, it's just like I do like the strategy of the undercover spies against it because with, like you said, with Never Urinal, with Imbalance, other stuff to protect your spies, it's super solid dropping that. And then
fair enough.
But
I'm gonna say miss.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say it's a hit just because
I'm gonna say miss.
So here's the thing. It was a brilliant meta call in match play. He looked and he figured, he went down the matchups and he's like, you know what? No one's playing a Vader deck. No one's gonna play Vader deck. Luke is gonna be there at the docking bay all day. Like it was a brilliant meta call. I mean, part of my strategy for the final day was to switch up some cards to try to deal with Luke on turn 2. I was running Cad Banes, Forlom, double Cold Feet for resilience. I mean, all sorts of tech. Double Imbalance combo for Sorry combo, starting Crush against Clash. Like, I wanted to kill Luke.
Right.
People can meta for it, right? It works when it's not anticipated, and it also works in a Vader-less environment. But right now, ISB is so popular. Everybody's running 1 or 2 Blizzard 4s, and that gets Vader. So as long as Vader is a realistic early game threat as long as Imperial decks are still up in the meta, which ISB certainly is. It's not gonna be like viable. Like it's not like we're in the era of slavers and whatever it was at the end of the reset. Like nobody was playing Imperials back then.
Fair
So,
enough. Fair
fair.
enough.
Yeah,
So
and-
Dan's first one. Am I reading all these right?
Yeah, you're gonna read all of them.
All right. Dan's first one is AOBS is the best dark side right now. Swing and a miss, or it's a hit.
It's a hit. Map was good for a while, but as Hayes pointed out, it's just not good. It doesn't have a good matchup at this point. And ASM, I mean, nobody's really fleshed out like a good build for it. For mains, there's still the droid to cover version. Court, you don't want to see throne room. I mean, ASM's good. The biggest problem with ASM is Hayes said it. It's a tough deck to play. I mean, it takes a lot of mental fortitude.
Yeah.
So,
I think
but I
it's
still
between
think it's the best.
AOBS.
I didn't say anything about ASM.
Well, no, I'm saying like as you were pointing out about AOBS, I was saying ASM. Nobody's fleshed out the best build, the best build.
I think it's between AOBS and ISB right now. I think no one's really figured out the best ISB list quite yet. People are still kind of tweaking it and playing around and seeing what sort of tricks they want to mess around with. So it's probably the most solid, but you know, I'm not sure if it's the best. But right now, I think it probably is it's a hit on it being the best deck right now.
Shouldn't even ask. I played it twice.
Yeah,
Boom.
I mean, we have a clear winner.
It has no obvious weak. That's the thing about it, right? It can deal with scrubs. It can deal with mains. And by dealing with them, I mean avoiding them, right?
Mhm.
Like it can play around anything. It doesn't have any auto losses. You're not gonna get beat down. It's a very safe deck.
Mhm.
All right. My second one here was there's been some discussion on the competitive balance area about Rescue in the Clouds. So is Rescue in the Clouds too strong in the current meta? It's a hit, swing and a miss.
Not too strong in the current meta. No. You worded that carefully. So no, it is not too strong in the current meta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blanket, is the card not good? Like, yes. But it's not too strong in the current meta. No.
Okay. It's not a competitive balance issue at the current time.
No.
I would go ahead and say I agree with it not being a competitive balance. It is a pretty strong card, but like I've often found it to be like, I guess it sort of depends on, you know, what kind of deck you're running. If you have a light side deck that has some mobile sites, or if you're anticipating, I feel like it does unfairly punish like stunning move, but that's really sort of the only sort of quarrel I have with it. But that's not high up on my list of complaints.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I played 3 of it in my throne rooms, 3 or 4, depending upon the build, because you need to see cards early game. That helps reduce variance. That's why it's important in that deck. My no idea from Endor, I ran 0 because I'd much rather have a real card in hand. I'm not trying to filter through my deck to find something specific. I'm not trying to improve my destiny, right? I'm filtering out the low ones. Some decks it has a place, some decks it doesn't.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What about you, Dan?
No, I like the card. I'm a big Magic player. I like being able to draw cards. I like the ability to shuffle up my deck and get the stuff I want out of the deck as quick as I can in Magic. And this card's a Magic card. It really is.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a redesign on the old legacy Let the Wookiee Win.
Now
And,
that
like,
card was way too strong.
Let the Wookiee Win made you put the cards in use pile so you could track them a lot better in whatever order you wanted, whereas Rescue in the Clouds does the shuffle thing, but then Rescue in the Cloud also cancels Close Call and then does the mobile site thing or whatever. So, it's interesting, but people are we're definitely saying, that Rescue is a competitive balance issue. So I wanted to see.
Matt Harrison Trainer recently, came back to play in this event because, COVID. He's trapped like everyone else, even though he's Australia or New Zealand or somewhere like that. But anyway, I mean, he came back and he's like, oh man, this card might even be better than Let the Wookiee Win because you don't have to reveal what you're getting.
Yeah.
Against Kyle, had I revealed my choices of blank, blank, and blaster deflection, he would have been like, oh crap, he just pulled the blaster deflection. And then maybe he chose not to deploy Crack Fett against Luke, knowing that he has immunity to contend with, right? Like it would have changed his gameplay. So, it's they're different cards. But,
and then Let the Wookiee Win also had like a starting function that did things with certain decks. But yeah.
But nobody cared about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was used right when it first came out in those crazy throne room decks. But we're talking about
today
stuff. Let's go on to Dan's second one. We might.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? I got mine. I got them.
You got them.
Yeah. Okay, so Luke Skywalker, Rebel Scout, is too powerful right now, and it needs changed.
It's
too powerful. What?
It's too powerful. It's too powerful in the meta right now. It needs changed.
Again?
Yeah, it's really good.
No, this set was power creep. Everything got upped. I mean, everything got up. So.
I think he's fine. I mean, you right now you have to choose if you want to do Like My Father Before Me, if you want to roll Rebel Scout. I think having different Lukes is a better thing. Obviously, he's crazy good, but like what Hayes said earlier, would you rather draw 6s/7s, or would you rather redraw into potentially more?
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like the other abilities on him. Like he really does. He does kind of hurt dark side mains. He slows them down a lot. So I mean, you have to remember. So remembering that extra force to fire a weapon, even if you're not firing at him, it hurts dark side mains. So I mean, why would you play like Hunt down when he's out there? And so you have 10 force, you throw down Vader, you pull his saber. Okay, so that's 6 right there. You have 4 left. You want to initiate the battle, or okay, you throw down Maul with double bladed lightsaber. 7 for him. You have 10 force. You're out of force by the time that you're trying to like after the battle.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a card that we can make dark side cards to deal with, as opposed to, we could give dark side cards. Okay, during battle, all your weapons fire for free this turn.
Well, I'm not even saying like
that does that or something.
I think it's fine to make it +1 against him, but to make it +1 for everybody at the site that's with him is my biggest problem.
All right, that's fair.
Meh.
I think he's all right, and.
Honestly, if you it's the redraw that's the most busted part about him. Like,
True.
If he did not redraw, you would everything you said about him costing to fire is still true, right? It's the redraw that makes it insane. It's the same problem as Jedi Luke. Main characters should not be Destiny 6. Should not be a redraw automatically. That's the problem.
I can see that making
a precedent. The problem was a precedent was set with Like My Father Before Me, right? Everyone was accustomed to having 4 to 5 Destiny 6 main characters, and that's not the way it's supposed to work, right? Like main characters, high power level, low destiny. Not redraw into high destiny. That's the main issue with it. But you with the Like My Father Before Me stuff, I mean, you had to throw a bone to everybody. So whatever. I mean, yes. Would this card go into a base set after a reset? No. But then again, neither would Like My Father Before. So.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It was funny. I played a OCS game against Apollyon. I want to say it was 2 days ago, and there was a battle. I drew three of those Lukes in the battle. Took all 3 into my hand. I mean, it's just like you're taking. Huh? No, he didn't have Monarch.
What's funny?
No, the fact that I had 3 Lukes in one battle. Like, and I mean, he initiated the battle, so I mean, I had all those cards in my reserve deck, and I was able just to have all those Lukes, and Luke never left the table for me.
It is crazy how they were stacked like that.
Yeah.
All right. My next one is the field promotion / stormtrooper garrison interaction is unintended and should be fixed. Is that it's a hit or swing and a miss?
Swing and a miss. I think it's fine. I mean, it sucks, but as Hayes pointed out, there are cards that get rid of it. Leia V's gonna make. I think Leia V's is gonna have a comeback just because of that. I mean, not only that, she gets around, or she works with people in space. So what? Thrawn, Piet. She doesn't get around Shirinu because he's not a leader.
That's fair, but I mean,
she works-
Shirinu is
He's an admiral, but he's not a leader.
but he's a control phase thing
yeah.
as opposed to battle phase.
Lady Proxima, she cancels her game text.
Yeah, it's just a leader ability less than 5. So
yeah,
like
so I mean, she's good.
It covers Tarkin, it covers Veers, it covers Trench, it covers a lot of people, and that's why I've always been a big fan of Leia V.
Yeah,
she's also just really good if you happen to play against Darkside Senate.
Yeah, but outside of that, I mean, no, I don't think the field promotion is. We've known about it for a while since Beef Red. It's just caught on popularity because ISB is making a comeback, and Moff Gideon is a new card. I think once ISB figures out like where it needs to go, and heck, I've seen ISB not even play Stormtrooper garrisons because they're pulling other Stormtroopers. So I think it's fine for right now.
It's a multi-card combo that's Cypher and Origin, right? We don't just PC era doesn't have anything to do with that specific interaction, except helping enable it through Moff. In play testing, that was a big debate whether or not he should be allowed to pull the
garrison,
maintenance card or not, because maintenance cards. Pretty sure everybody is not a fan of them because of the way they sort of warp power creep.
Yeah. You're gonna talk power.
I'm sure. I know there's some people that do like them because they think it's fun to have Destiny 4 Power 8 adding Battle Destiny cards or what have you, or Destiny 5 Power 6 Battle Destiny cards, right? I mean, it's regardless. It's always existed. It's always been the case, but ISB is always slow. Magically, ISB has activation like it never had before. And oh, by the way, here's a discount on your maintenance card, Moff. That's the problem, in my opinion. But no, Dan's right. There's lots of ways to play around it. I mean, I was running the Leia, the gun, Jar Jar. I mean, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi V and move along. Lots of things to mess with it. Plus, it only protects leaders, right? I mean, yes, ISB does have an extremely high concentration of Imperial leaders, but not everybody is a leader. So
yeah. I mean, when you have a forfeit, 7 officer evacs, I'm just gonna shoot him with my lightsaber. He's not a leader. That goes 7 forfeit away from just hitting him.
He is a leader.
No, is he?
Yeah, evacs is definitely a leader. But it's one of those combos that feels, like super. Like, how do I get around this? But like, if you actually, take your time and tinker with your deck, especially light side, it's one of those things that light side has to deal with, and light side hasn't had to have many of those in a while. So,
correct.
I feel like that's it's one of those things that feels sort of broken in a way, but
it's multiple cards. It's their entire force pile to get it out on the table, and then it's only at the one site. So you just don't go there, or you go there and you deal with it. That's those are your choices.
All right.
Pretty much. Okay, so my next question is, right now, post MPC, and not including the MPC meta, the meta right now is in a good spot. So what we've seen play from the OCS and everything after set 12 is dropped, everything's in a good spot. Better than what it was back in, say, Endor.
Well, okay, so that's not what you asked.
The was out at Endor, right?
No.
That was out, right?
So your statement is the meta is better now than before the tweak set.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
So the tweak set worked. Is a good way to
pretty much
better.
It's better. It's Jerry, go ahead with your next one. I think that was a
you swing and a miss there. Your question.
I'm saying it. Yeah, that was my question, but I'm disregarding it. So you got yours.
My last one, which as usually is a silly one. I hope everybody's had a chance to check out the Star Wars CCG memes thread that's been going on. But Grady did a one that was more of like he captioned that scene from the Nazi movie or whatever.
Wow.
And that was that the best thing to come out of the memes thread? It's a hit or swing and a miss.
I think that was the best thing to come out this week. I mean, I've seen it like 3 times and I can't stop laughing at.
It's
Still,
so
the best
good.
line is what is it? I'm play QMC. Who
like,
am I? Tom Haid.
Tom effing Haid.
No, that was amazing.
If you have you seen that, Hayes? What Grady made?
Yes.
Yes, it was 100% fantastic. All the props to Grady.
So good job, Grady.
And 2 was it Joe Olson or whoever started the memes thread and got that going, because I've obviously had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, you know what? Making some Star Wars memes is fun. I mean, it brings me joy when I'm just sitting around in front of my computer and I'm like got nothing to do.
All right, you got one more left, right, Dan?
So Mr. Hayes Hunter, you're going to continue your streak and win at least one more major this year.
Okay.
I don't even think I should vote on this one.
I think you should.
So I mean,
show your confidence.
We have Worlds. We were in the planning stages of doing Nationals in Denver for July. I'm not sure if we're still going to do that with this current environment. I really hope to have something. Maybe if we don't do July, maybe we do August or September or something instead. But we'll at least have Worlds.
I mean, not only Worlds, but we have a European event coming up.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess Hayes could go to that too.
Yeah,
he could win that. But yeah, I mean, winning the first 2 majors of the year, obviously the 2020 NPC will always sort of have kind of an asterisk next to it, just like all of
asterisk with an exclamation point.
Yeah, I'm going to say this: Hayes is not Roger Maris. He does not get an asterisk for this win. Just because we're all stuck in our houses and everything,
right.
The man went out there and he played and he won.
Where everyone was dealing with the same circumstances. It wasn't like he, whatever. So, obviously, it'll be, oh, that was the virtual NPC, right? I mean, in 5 years when we're talking about this, whatever. So, but you got Endor, you got the NPC. There's at least be Worlds. We're gonna try to have hopefully a big summer USA tournament here in Colorado if things allow for big gatherings of 50 to 100 people.
I'm gonna say this: the only thing that can stop Hayes at this point is Bastion.
Bastion is, definitely, and there's good players, and I mean, every so often a guy like Phil wins Worlds or Dan Kim or something like that.
Wait, are you saying that those guys aren't good players?
No, they're good. Obviously, 100%.
Hey, somebody get Phil Asen on the line right now and say that Jerry just called him out, saying he's not a good player.
Calling out Phil, but we've had a 2-time champion in a row. And we've had other champions win it twice, like Johnny and like Justin and like Kevin. And
so you're saying like Tom Haid is not a good player because he's only won Worlds once?
Nah, Tom Haid's terrible. I mean,
okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, he did lose in the second round of the NPC, just like Joe Olson, Chris Kelly.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So I to answer the question, I think it's unlikely that Hayes wins one more major just because, there might only be 1 or 2 more ones and there's other really good players out there that will get in his way. But, he's playing pretty good right now, so it's hard to bet against him either way.
I'm not going to go to any more tournaments.
Ooh.
See, there you go.
Wow. I'm going to say this. My money is on Hayes Hunter at this point.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's
Hayes, if I would be a betting man, and I sometimes am, I would put down money on Hayes Hunter winning a major.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's on TV now. You can't take it back.
Hey, I said it was going to be an all Hunter final for the NPC.
Yeah, you were pretty close, man.
How does that help your argument that I'm going to win another one then?
It doesn't, but I'm just saying I've gone on record saying that you and Eric were going to make it to the finals. I mean, you did make it to the finals.
Did you predict that in your bracket?
Yeah,
I had Hayes in the final. I had him losing to Justin Desai.
I had Hayes winning. So Hayes, just goes to show you, one of us actually likes you.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Fair
so I
enough.
think that's it for
He
swing and a
knows
miss.
that
I think that's it for swing and a miss. And
All
it's a
right,
hit.
so are we on the spelling challenge, or are we
No,
gonna
we're
have?
gonna wait. We have one more segment.
Okay,
So
the card of the week.
card of the week. So we'll do
All
yours
right.
first.
My card of the week is hold on, what is it called? Yeah, it's called Mindful of the Future Virtual. It is a card that was designed by Emil from Sweden, and with Maul becoming more of a factor in the meta, it does things like if Maul just swung a lightsaber, that lightsaber may not target again. And if its lost portion is if Obi-Wan or not EPP Qui-Gon are with a Dark Jedi, add one Battle Destiny, or you can cancel Maul Strikes or the Phantom Menace. So it's got some utility if you're not going against Maul in the fact that it's got the Dark Jedi thing. We can add a Battle Destiny. Obviously, it's really good against Maul decks, canceling the second swing or canceling Maul Strikes or the Phantom Menace, which is really good against EPP Maul because you get
And
rid of
it's an
immunity.
episode 1 interrupt.
Mhm.
And it's an episode
So-
1 interrupt, so you can get it with Qui-Gon V.
There
you
go.
Master Qui-Gon V.
Yep, there you go.
So yeah, I think I have done this card before because it is one of my favorites. So, but yeah, especially now that Maul is much more a factor.
Yeah.
I think people need to if you're playing Dark Side and you're not really aware of this card, remember this card is a card, and if Maul is giving you trouble as a light side player, maybe consider tossing this in your throne room deck or in your hyperdrive or whatever light side mains ish decks you've got going on. So that's my card of the week.
That's your card of
for
the week.
Apparently the second time.
Second time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just reiterate what I said last time. I don't remember what it was, but cool card. Thanks, Jerry.
Cool card. GG, bro.
GG. So for my card of the week, it's actually
ELHF.
my card of the week is a new one. Quietly Observing. I don't think we have done this one yet, but it's a new one. I like this one. I like the utility. It's interest. I mean, we saw a lot of this one at the NPC. Not only you're seeing it in AOBS, but you're seeing it in Court. You're seeing it in Dark Deals. So, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm losing my voice.
It's pretty rad. I like the, I mean, RS Sing coming out at the same time as the tweak to this card is crazy because it also works with her. So like running two RS Sings in your decks that run this card is just like no brainer.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, it works. It increases the destiny of Bosk, who's good for against like solo. It increases the destiny for Bosk and Ship, which is good against the new Falcon. So yeah, it's a fun card. I mean, I played AOBS in the NPC. I've been playing it recently too. I have fun with the deck, and playing this over like Imp Decree, which you can start, or another card. It's I just like it. It's fun. This is just a fun card to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it was out before and did most of these things, but I think it just changed from having 1 to 2 aliens that you reveal with it.
Used to you could play it with like anything with an episode or a Theed icon objective, so you could actually play it in Invasion and ASM because it used the same template or whatever. So you could skirt more objectives. But yeah, the twice it was very hard to justify it as a starting effect when you could only pick one character. It's like, okay, I'm one dude, I get one guy, that's it. Like, who is worth giving up a starting effect slot for this? But yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, I played it both days.
And what kind of aliens would you like to pick with?
I was running 3 auras and 2 Cad Banes and 1 Bosk on day 1, so 6 cards getting 2 Destiny bonus. And same number the second day. I just the Cads and the auras. But I mean, you think about your average AOBS Destiny, and if you look at B Fred's list from Endor, for instance, the number of 2s is astronomical. And you're just taking out all those dudes and you're putting them into the Destiny 4 category. So I was drawing Destinies like so high all event. It's so nice to have that level of consistency. It felt throne room like.
Did you get much ping damage with Thrawn because of him being in space?
I think when Kyle really wanted to run Luke Run into that site, that was the only ping that I got all tournament.
Okay.
So no, he's valuable because there are game states in which it comes. Actually, no, I take that back. I did battle against Diplo, and I targeted the Dune Sea, and the droids went there and lost the force.
Nice. That's
No,
awesome.
it's the huge thing is that he's forfeit 6.
Yeah.
I mean that's really his primary benefit is a forfeit 6 pilot. The also like in random meta scenarios, like he helps protect your Zuckuss or Ellis from
getting
going-
shot down.
Yeah, exactly, or that kind of stuff. It doesn't stop Tarn, but
Yeah, apparently nothing stops Tarn. He's just the unbreakable ship destroyer.
ceasefire.
Ceasefire, I think, is just about the only thing that
Set for
stops
stun.
Tarn.
Yeah.
Set for stun. Set for stun
Barrier.
is one of yeah.
Man.
Overload.
All right, fine.
You're just
You
gonna
realize
keep
that I play with Eric, right? We see
Yeah.
Tarn in everything.
All he has to do.
I was
is
gonna
shoot.
say.
It's just so funny. I mean, I guess you can put
TFT.
vehicles aboard your starship. Does that stop Tarn?
Yeah, they don't lose their forfeit.
Yeah.
Or you
So, I
just
mean,
play
that's-
multiple ships with dudes on it. That's another way.
split them up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah. So I think it's
So-
time for the segment that everyone, especially Mr. Hayes Hunter, has been waiting for. Are you currently watching the stream?
No.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm looking at you. Talk to me in Discord.
Are you ready for your spelling challenge?
I don't even know what we're doing, so sure.
Spelling challenge. You're going to spell me a card. I'm going to tell you what the card is, and you're going to try and spell it. If you win, you get a prize. If you don't, you get
Wait.
nothing.
Wait, so I have to spell? Wait. Oh, wait.
Yes.
This way you have to say the name of the card. I'm with you.
Yes.
We're gonna say the name of the card, and then you have to spell the card title.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
So let me pull it up on my phone because I can't. I mean, it's up on the Discord, but I just want to make sure I.
Well, yeah, I mean it's the virtual set 11.
He wants me to
alright.
say it. He wants me to say it.
All right,
So
you're gonna have
the
to
card.
say it.
Your card is Mythra Naruto.
What?
Mythra.
You have to spell virtual set 11 Thrawn.
Yeah. Mythra Naruto. So it's the Tom Hay. It's the Tom Hayde Thrawn.
Mitt. So you
Would
want me
you-
to spell the full Mitt?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Would
need-
you like
we
me to
need
use it in a sentence for you?
Yes.
Okay. Mythra Naruto is a hard word to say.
Can I get the country of origin?
The
please?
country of origin is the United States of America. Thank you,
United-
Timothy Zahn.
United States of Chiss.
Yeah.
Have you guys are familiar with the Derek comedy spelling bee?
No.
You should Google it. It's not appropriate for this, but
We'll check it out.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
all right. Do I have to get the yeah? 'cause-
No, I'm
all
not.
right.
I will say this: you will not have to get the apostrophes right.
Yeah, we won't grade you on that. If you
Yeah.
get the word right without the apostrophes, maybe extra credit. Extra
okay.
credit for the apostrophes being in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's MITT apostrophe.
Well, I'm going to say this. Remember, though, the word Thrawn comes from it, so there's a hint.
Yeah. MITT apostrophe HRAUNA apostrophe ANDO.
No.
Bzz.
No.
You missed. You even got Thrawn wrong.
Okay.
That was the big one. So it's
Taco
fine.
Bill is still the only one to get our spelling challenge right on the.
I only
first
read
Yeah.
the book like once, so I don't know.
So it's
Well, I mean, but you
MI.
play with the card in your deck, though.
Nobody reads card titles.
I do.
All right, so
I had
it's
to look up my
Wrong.
future because I didn't know what it was.
All right,
So it's
MITT.
MITT
All right, you got it.
H apostrophe RAW apostrophe NURUODO.
Yeah, so
Mythron
raw is in quotes.
Naruto.
So yeah,
Okay.
like it's myth and then raw in quotes. Nuradura or whatever.
No, that name has no bearing on gameplay. So not
Yeah.
worth. Not
we
worth.
wanted
the
to give you a
energy.
really hard one
Yeah.
because it was
I'm going to say this. I was going to go easy with you, but Jerry was like, no, I want to have him spell this one.
I did come up with this
Fail to spell that one. Yes,
just
thank
because
you.
it was a good one.
So blame Jerry. So Taco Bill Kafer is still the only undefeated champion. We also have one more thing that we're going to do, our weekly deck challenge. We haven't gotten one for like the last while. Nobody has done anything for a while. I think our last one with either playing Kessel Run or Rykar's Run,
Yeah, it was
nobody
that
was
one.
able to complete.
Yeah, we haven't got any
So
submissions on
I
that.
know Ryan
Take that out
Saracen.
of swing.
Ryan Saracen was like, he's the only one who done. He did it twice in a week. So you know what? This one's going to be pretty easy. And this one is right up Taco Bill's alley. So our weekly deck challenge is you're to blow up either the Jada site, so Jada City,
Jeddah.
Jada.
I was gonna
Go
say,
on.
what are we talking about?
So you need to. So we offer Jada. So
Jada Pinkett
you
Smith.
set your course Alderaan to either blow up the city or Alderaan with
Wait, which one is it?
or either or. You could blow up
You
either
said
of them.
Alderaan or
Or Jada's city, the site.
Alderaan?
You can either blow up Jeddah City or Alderaan with set your
Yeah.
course for Alderaan.
He said Alderaan.
Well, looking
Is
for
it-
love in Alderaan places.
Is it Alderaan or Alderaan?
It's
Alderaan.
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 Anyway.
Anyway, so you have to blow up either one of those locations with Vader's Custom Tie, Black 2, and Black 3 on the table at the same time.
So
you have to
proton
have-
bombs are allowed.
Yeah, so you got to
Yeah.
have the legendary squadron there for the
Not the
Death
actual
Star
squadron. Not
Death
the
Star
actual squadron. Not the Death Star Assault Squadron.
You
You have to
can't
have
use
each
that?
individual ship.
You can't use that. You got to actually use the 3 individual
Yeah.
ships. Okay, the ships and the pilots, or just the ships?
Ship and pilots.
Okay, so you need Vader's Custom Tie, Black 2, DS612, Black 3, and DS613.
613. Yeah.
All right, and you have to blow up Jeddah City, or you
Or
have to blow up
Alderaan.
Alderaan. Alderaan.
Now I got you doing it.
Yes, you sure do.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah,
Anyway, I think that's it. I think that was a good show. So not to pat ourselves on the back, but again, I just want to say thank you to Jerry for doing this almost every week. Thank you to Mr. I gotta go build a shed. And I also want to thank especially our
Shed building is fun.
our NPC champion, Mr. Hayes Hunter, for joining us this week. So I think we're going to be back next week. I'm going to get. We'll see who we can get on as our guest host, and then we'll have some more Star Wars coverage for you. Stay tuned every Monday for Chris Goglin's show. He's still doing his OCS reviews, so get your OCS games. Sign up if you haven't signed up. Still a lot of time. Well, there's not a lot of time this month, but May is just around the corner, so you can get some games in.
Yep. We got one
I
more
think
day
right
left.
now it looks like Mr. Joe Olson and Brian Fred it looks like they're in the number 1 and 2 spots. So
All right,
looks
we'll
like they're
see if
going to
that
make it this
holds
month.
up. Catch up on that next week, and keep your eyes on the Players Committee YouTube channel.
Yeah.
In the next few days, I'm going to start getting a lot of the NPC videos transferred over there. So if you didn't get a chance to check us out live last weekend and the weekend before, we're going to start getting a lot of those streams transferred over to YouTube. So keep your eyes peeled for that stuff if you haven't had a chance to check those out yet. So that's it.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.